Well, it's great to be in Middletown. Mr. Superintendent, thank you for your leadership. Superintendent Stiles, we appreciate his passion. We just need a little more enthusiasm from you. No, but we do appreciate this, and good reason that we are here, and Lieutenant Governor will talk about that in a moment. But good to be at Amanda Elementary. Beth Hendricks, thank you very much for your leadership of this team, some of whom I've had the opportunity to for every family, every Ohioan to have access to high-speed internet. It is a goal and the bill that I will sign in a few minutes is really the first major towards doing that. It creates the framework, sort of the vessel that we will be able to use and pour money into. The Governor will talk in more detail about that. This has been a goal long before we took the oath of office of Governor and Lieutenant Governor. The past year, I think, has shown us, if anyone had any doubts that we do have a divide in this state, the last year, when we had many children working from home, working remotely, either for most of the school year or part of the school year, we have seen a divide. And it's not just in the rural areas, but you can have children in the urban areas, you can have children in the rural areas, and you can even have children in the suburbs who their families do not have the access. As we're seeing more and more people work from home, and some of this may continue, we want people to be able, if they live in a remote area, to go to work and be able to work through the internet, as well as their children be able to go online, and not just when the school is remote. We're now moving out of this pandemic. We had virtually every school, every kid was back in school by March 1. But as the superintendent said, it's homework, it's research, it's all the other things that really are done so very, very much through the internet. So this is really an exciting day. I want to thank, he is not here yet, I don't think, but Representative Rick Carfagna, who I know this has been a goal of his. We appreciate his work very, very, very much. House Bill 2 that I will sign in a few moments creates the Ohio Residential Broadband Expansion Grant Program. It will award grants to providers to fund the construction of broadband projects in unserved and underserved areas of the state of Ohio. It will be housed in the Developmental Service Agency's Broadband Ohio office. These grants will be used to fill in the funding gap, ensuring that projects are profitable and enticing providers to provide them. Public-private partnership. Additionally, House Bill 2 creates the Broadband Expansion Program Authority within the state government, DSA, to receive and review applications from providers and ultimately award these grants. We're here in Amanda Elementary in Middletown City School District because they have recently been awarded funds for many local organizations, and the Lieutenant Governor will talk about that in more detail. We know that many more projects like this will make it across the finish line. Expanding access to high-speed internet for Ohioans in areas of the state that are not served at all or that are not served adequately enough. So I want to thank Representative Carfagna. I want to also thank the leadership of the Senate, the leadership of the House of Representatives, as well as specifically Representative Brian Stewart, Representative Michael O'Brien, Senator Steve Wilson, Senator Rob McCulley, who also played a critical role in getting the legislation here. This is something where we have a broad consensus in the state of Ohio. Democrats, Republicans, rural, urban, suburban, there's just this broad consensus that we must move, and we must move very, very quickly in this area. So in addition to $20 million that this provides, we have asked the legislature for another $200 million. And as I said, I believe that there is can't ever speak for anybody but myself, but I think there's a broad consensus in the state about the need for us to move forward in this area. This is really, in 2021, this is essential for Ohio to move forward. Let me now turn it over to Lieutenant Governor Houston. John.
Thank you, Governor. And what a lot of fun this is to be here at the school. The are fantastic. If you get a chance to talk with them, you can tell that the superintendent and the principal run a great elementary school here, as reflected by those students who are here today. Let me just say that I appreciate Governor DeWine's leadership on this. He carved out at the very beginning, he said this is something we got to fix. He asked me and the team to work on this, and we can't make enough announcements like this. We're super happy about being here today. We've done some other announcements of projects like the one we're going to announce today, but the passage of House Bill 2 is incredibly important to our path to success. The main problem, low-income students and families lack access to broadband. You know that. It's an economic issue, because you talk about homework. There's homework for mom and dad as well that they need to be able to do. There's homework for the children. There's also homework as it relates to health and telehealth. We had a statistic the other day that revealed that those who have access to telehealth show up to their appointments, particularly behavioral health appointments, at a much higher rate than those who don't have access. There's a number of things that will change people's lives with the passage of House Bill 2 and a pilot project like we're working on here. I guess it's no longer a pilot project. This is the way forward. We're doing this now. We're doing it all over the state. And Amanda Elementary will benefit from the framework that is outlined in House Bill 2, and we're announcing a pilot project today to complete the connectivity gap for 400 households in the area. The project is special in that the Southwest Ohio Computer Association and Regional ITC came to Broadband Ohio and they needed help, and they had a solution. They identified the solution that we have been working on with PCs for People for broadband affordability and access across Ohio, and across the region. Here's an important fact about this. The project will provide speeds up to 50 megabits download and 10 megabits upload. That's essentially that's twice of what the federal definition of high-speed internet is, and it's affordable. $15 per month, thanks to this partnership we've had with PCs for People, and we've done this in East Cleveland, we've done this in rural Ohio, and today we're announcing this in Butler County. The school will have an antenna like the one. Where's our antenna? Do we have one in here? There we go. Out in the hallway. Gosh, I was going to say I didn't see it's kind of big. They're going to have the antenna, and this will send a signal out into the community. It's another example of the private-public partnership that we have been working on with PCs for People, and now we have Ohio and the Ohio Department of Education all in collaboration on this. It was made possible through a $50 million broadband connectivity grant, which we announced last summer that we used to connect. We used a lot of that money for temporary solutions with hotspots. Now we have a permanent solution for these students, and it works. Thanks to the regional ITC, which links school existing fiber network, a transmitter is placed at the school building to create a new wireless network that connects the existing secure internet service. And then homes near the school receive via the Wi-Fi system. When the fire station near here construction is complete, the new fiber technology will enable them to quickly deploy a fiber network to connect that new fire station. And thanks to the broadband connectivity grant, other schools in the region will receive funding to replicate this project too, that include Butler Tech, Monroe City Schools, and Lakota local schools. The cost of this project for this location is $125,000. It will provide high-speed internet to families that don't have it at an affordable price that opens up opportunity in the economy for those students, for future generations of students. It will people have never had before, and it will begin to change people's lives and create an inclusive recovery in this pandemic as we come out. As jobs are being created, we now are going to give more and more families the opportunity to participate in the modern economy, education, and healthcare system. That's what this is about, helping everybody succeed, giving them the tools that they need to access the world and achieve their God-given hopes and aspirations, their version of the American dream. You can't do it without access to high-speed internet. It's really hard, and we're changing all that. School by school, community by community, and thanks to Representative Carfagna for his diligent work. He's been at this for a while. He's one of the legislators who really understands this and has been a champion for us, and we're grateful for that. I know Senator Steve Wilson, also from the area, from Southwest Ohio, was a big help at getting this accomplished. And I also want to thank the private sector. They were very helpful in working with the representatives and the members of the legislature on making sure that we gave them, look, we're trying to solve problems that exist. When the private sector can solve it, they'll solve it. We're excited about that. But when they can't solve it, or they can't solve it at the price point that we need to, that's when we have to step in and be able to help those families, those children, those communities. So I am super excited about just what we're able to do community by community. We are building a quilt. We patch it here, we patch it there, we solve the problems. You look at those maps in the back, you can see where the great challenges are, and we are aggressively, thanks to the passage of House Bill 2 and the partnership that we've been able to create across the state with schools, with PCs for People, with the private sector and others, going to be very aggressive at helping all Ohioans have access. So thank you for being here today. Thanks for all the partners who played a role in making this happen. And they're the reason why, right there. Those children are going to be our future leaders. They're going to be the leaders in tech and healthcare and all those things, and we need to make sure that they're prepared and ready. Thank you very much. And with that, I think I'm going to introduce Representative Carfagna's next. All right. I was in my head I was going to transition to Director Mahalik, but now Rick is with us, and I mentioned him a little bit earlier. You know, there are a lot of issues that the General Assembly has to focus on, and some of them can be very distracting, and sometimes we all can lose focus. Representative Carfagna has been a steady voice at making sure that the General Assembly understands the power and importance of connectivity. He's been a fighter and a leader for this, and let me welcome a friend to all who care about this issue, Representative Rick Carfagna.
Wow, what an introduction, Lieutenant Governor. That's truly means a lot. Governor DeWine, thank you for being here today. It is very special, and it's a long time coming. 5 years is how long I've been at it, since before I was running for office, I put this concept together. I worked in the industry for 16 years. I was a township trustee for 7 years. So I kind of tried to bridge those two perspectives where I worked in the private sector. I understood the economics behind why we're not getting it out there. But I also found myself having to advocate for people in my own community that were without it. So 3 General Assemblies, 4 House Speakers, 2 governors, 2 Senate presidents. That's how long it's taken for us to get here. 2 individuals who are not here today that I want to acknowledge. My joint sponsor, State Representative Brian Stewart. My former joint sponsor, Mike O'Brien, State Representative Mike O'Brien from up in the Mahoning Valley. Yes, it's a long time coming, but it's frankly been a longer time coming for the 1 million Ohioans that lack access to reliable high-speed internet service. I've said this all along. Broadband is the great social equalizer of our time. It will bring at long last employment, education, healthcare, commerce opportunities that are presently denied to so many people that are throughout their state. It's a problem that's been festering for decades. It's been my top priority, like I said, in my 3 terms in office, but it's also been an issue that the DeWine Houston administration, they campaigned on, and they recognized that it was a critical need that we have to address. So we've understood this problem. We've been working on it for years, but frankly, a lot of people just couldn't appreciate or comprehend the scope of the situation until just last year. And it took a global pandemic to really kind of lay bare what those disparities are here in the state. Because you can't work from home if you don't have a high-speed internet connection. Your children cannot participate in virtual learning opportunities without a high-speed internet connection. You can't avail yourself of telehealth services here in the state without high-speed internet. And let's talk real quick about telehealth. Nationwide Children's Hospital up in Central Ohio, they've got some incredible statistics. In 2019, their telehealth visits amounted to 332. 332. In 2020, that number soared to 316,568. 332 to over 316,000 in just 1 year. And that's just for Nationwide Children's Hospital. And that's why it's so heartbreaking to think about what a wasted resource, frankly, it is to in the areas that lack access to broadband service. These are the very places where healthcare offerings are already scarce and telehealth options are so desperately needed. So House Bill 2, it is a residential broadband expansion program. It's designed to provide grants to offset construction cost hurdles and help facilitate the expansion of high-speed internet to unserved households throughout Ohio. Now, I've said this, it's not going to solve the problem overnight, but this program and the $20 million that is immediately contained in this program will enable the extension of this infrastructure to many thousands of Ohioans unable to access this critical resource. It'll position Ohio to react quickly and maximize the availability of federal funds for broadband expansion. It's going to free up millions in private investment. It will allow us to move on to other policy discussions about other barriers to access, such as affordability, such as digital literacy. We can do, but we can do far more and make much more meaningful impact with the additional $190 million in funds that is currently moving through our Ohio budget. The Ohio House supports this. They put the money in, fully supports it. They've been zealous advocates for it, and I urge the Ohio Senate to do the same, to support it and pass it when they come out with their revisions to the budget. Because access to broadband, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it is life-changing. I think there are hundreds of Ohioans currently that use remote supports. These are disabled Ohioans using remote supports to communicate with caregivers. Broadband technology is allowing them to live independently in their own homes. But beyond disabled Ohioans, we can use remote supports to allow our elderly relatives to age in place much longer than simply just to go into assisted living. I think of the transformative impact this is going to have in our communities. There's research that shows that there's merit in having it available, even if it's not even being purchased. Studies show that broadband increases home values in the range of 1.8% to 3.1%. So when you apply that to Ohio's median home price, that equates to roughly $3,900 to $6,700 of instantaneous improvement to one's property value. Broadband will allow our younger generation to set up roots in the small towns where they came from. They can telecommute to work. They can start a home-based business. And these are the very seeds of prosperity that we can plant with this type of infrastructure. Lieutenant Governor, referred to it as a quilt, and he's absolutely right. This is just one component of a larger, far more collective effort to chip away at the number of households, the neighborhoods and the communities throughout the state that are unserved. Organically through the significant capital providers are making, whether it's wireline or wireless or satellite technologies. The result of the capacity that's being done to free up on our state's Marks towers, and future efforts to leverage our public facilities and our rights of ways to try to enable them more. But Governor DeWine, with your signature today, Ohio is taking control of its destiny as it relates to infrastructure planning and innovation. And I'm so excited and I'm grateful, but I can't wait to see what the future holds once we get these digital resources into the hands of the capable and the willing Ohioans that are yearning for these opportunities. Governor, today you've kept your promise to them. I am so thankful that you've made broadband access a key endeavor of your administration. So I'm ready to get to work, and I thank you. And I would next like to recognize Development Services Agency. I think are you up there? Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Lydia Mahalik, who's director of DSA, who's batting cleanup in the order. But thank you, Director.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Representative. And Superintendent, I promise to get it back on track here for you very quickly. Thank you, Representative. It really is awesome to be here. I got to tell you, kids, when I was looking at my schedule for the week yesterday, this is by far the highest and critical work that we do, of course, on a weekly basis. Getting to interact with you young leaders this morning is definitely the highlight. But it is great to be with you, Governor DeWine, Lieutenant Governor Husted, and Representative Carfagna to do this very important signing of House Bill 2 this morning. It's a really exciting day for us at Development and, of course, at Broadband Ohio. You know, our daily work is focused on ensuring that Ohio communities across this state are competitive for job creation and expansion projects, and that Ohio has a very strong and skilled workforce. And basically, as you know, throughout this work, there is one challenge. It's one consistent thread, and it's access, as we've talked about this morning, to reliable internet service. And the funding from House Bill 2 is going to allow Development and Broadband Ohio and the new grant authority to identify and support these projects that are going to increase availability to broadband in our underserved and unserved communities. It's going to build on the current success that we've had over the last year. We've launched a telehealth pilot with the Switzerland local schools down in Monroe County to support the district's behavioral health specialists. And with Jobs Ohio, we've partnered with Starlink to provide services via satellite up and over in Union County. Broadband Ohio has also worked with the Office of Workforce Transformation and the Ohio Library Council to help develop literacy. We've been super busy. Two of our own pilot projects have helped residents in Logan County as well as East Cleveland to receive internet access they needed at an affordable price, which has been important, and certainly this grant program is going to help us do even more. And we know, of course, that what works here in Middletown may not work in other parts of the state, but that's where, this collaboration with local leaders and industry partners are going to help us find the right solutions that work for all of Ohio. It's important for us to be able to recognize the Ohio Telecom Association the Ohio Cable Telecommunications Association, our rural electric cooperatives, the Management Council, Charter, AT&T, and other internet service providers that have really helped to provide support and input to this critical legislation, House Bill 2. And this, in addition to the support of our local leaders and the members of the General Assembly, some, of course, who are here today, that have really made this possible. And, of course, we also appreciate their continued contributions through a group that we've set up called the Ohio Broadband Alliance. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Representative Carfagna, I am very confident that we're going to be able to make your vision of creating this and bringing this high-speed internet access to every Ohioan a reality. And Representative, I agree with you. Let's get to work. Thank you very much. Superintendent, I'm kicking it to you. All right.
This time I'd like to introduce a gentleman from PCs for People, Mr. Brian Malk, who has previously been the Vice President for Workforce Development for the Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry for the last 7 years. He has been serving his community over the last 15 years, helping to provide outreach and employment services to individuals who were homeless and previously incarcerated. PCs for People provide the opportunity for low-income individuals and nonprofits to benefit from the life-changing impact of computers and mobile internet. Again, please welcome Mr. Brian Malk from PCs for People.
Well, thank you very much for having me. My name is Brian Malk. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at PCs for People. PCs for People is a national nonprofit organization that focuses on bridging the digital divide, both through computers, the actual devices, internet access, and then the support, right? So making sure that people can have a device, have it connected to the internet, and know how to use it. And that's what we've been doing. Over the last year and some change now with the pandemic, PCs for People in Ohio has thousands and thousands of computers and of mobile hotspots. And I just want to very quickly tell a quick story from around late March last year, right when the first when the pandemic was first hitting. We were distributing computers. This mom came through the line. She didn't know all the details, but she thought she was going to have to pay for the computer and had pawned on her way. About that moment now, here a year and some change. How proud I am to be an Ohioan, to be a part of this community that has really their devices, but there's connection and support for those families. So just from all those folks. There is no internet that's accessible or affordable, or both in some places, many places. So we've been able to work with our partners at the state and partners locally, from the state fiber network to the local firehouse that's on the fiber network, to be able to put up small antennas. So you'll see one in the hallway. It was too small is a relative term. It was too big, but that's one of about 80 households, right? And then we have ones that can serve up to 400 households that we can deploy. But we plug into the state's fiber network. We put it on top of schools, firehouses, libraries, other tall buildings in the community, and it works just like a cell phone. LTE signal that plugs into that fiber network goes out into the community through trees, through houses, and then into people's homes, and then rebroadcast it as Wi-Fi that all of our devices lovingly know and are hungry for. So it's an idea that is accessible to communities that don't necessarily have it. We aren't interested in a nationwide service map. We're interested in the pockets where there's no one else working. We're looking at something that's affordable. We work exclusively with folks under 200% of the poverty line, so low-income families across the country, and we found that $15 is about the most that those families can afford for internet. So when we came out into this internet world, we wanted to make sure it was something that was under $15 and that was actually usable, right? Broadband speeds, 50/10 download, so that people can Zoom, they can watch videos, they can do whatever they need to learn, work, and live online. And then finally, we wanted something that was sustainable and scalable, right? So this is sustainable, that $15 after the build cost. It's something that we can continue to operate, to maintain, and to upgrade to 5G, 6G, 7G, however many Gs we need to keep going. And then finally, it's something that's scalable, right? So that little antenna outside is something that we can pop many, many more into communities across the state as needed. So we're thrilled to be able to have these partnerships. We're really excited to get started here in Middleton, where we can really engage the community and do a really wraparound approach to helping both bring the internet but also the digital connectivity skills to the community. So thank you all very much, and we're really excited to get started.
Governor DeWine, I just got the sign from one of your staffers in the back, thumbs up, and they also followed with something like this. I'm sure you know what that means.
We've done that before.
Awesome. We'll transition over
All
here.
right, come on, everybody. Come on over. You guys want to join us up here? Yeah. Come on up.
Don't be shy.
Watch closely to make sure you know how to do this.
Go there.
This is how you turn a bill into a
Good,
law.
you're good. Come on, somebody there. Yeah, fill in, guys. Yeah.
Put 3 of them on this side. 3 of them on this side.
All right.
Stand right here, Shane.
Oh, and I'm going to show you why.
See?
Okay, so here's the bill. You see the bill? Yeah. See, the
This is what he's saying.
Speaker of the House has signed it, and the Senate President has signed it. So that means that both the House and the Senate have passed it. Here it is. And then down here is I put my signature, and once I put my signature, then it can become law. So that's it. That's what the bill looks like. And the reason I have the pins is that I can hand them out to people who had played a part in this done. Do you guys like one of these pens? Okay, we're going to use the pens then. We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What's the date? Anybody know the date? 17. Okay, so I got that one. That's done. One, see? Now, my signature is not very good anyway, but once you do this with the pens, it kind of really gets bad. That's the M. I. You gotta get the dot, right? What do you think? Get the dot? We're getting there.
You guys don't do this at home, so it'll just take you forever to write your assignment.
That's right. And I think we may run out of pens, so I'm gonna use one of these. Well, I'll donate that to the cause here. All right. There it is, see? I think.
Nice.
All right.